I predict that the hostility, infighting, and divisiveness we've seen regarding the use of AI tools in general has the potential to become more divisive than the long-standing wide versus exclusive to Kindle debate. There are those who fear what AI will do to the creative community, displace artists, narrators, writers, and there will be those who acknowledge that AI is another tool in the arsenal that writers will be able to employ as part of their author business.
Welcome to the Stark Reflections on Writing and Publishing podcast. There has never been a better time for writers. More information, options, and opportunities are available to you, but navigating these requires insight. Join Mark Leslie Lefebvre as he draws upon more than a quarter century of experience as a writer, a bookseller, and a trusted book industry consultant to explore and reflect on the writing and publishing landscape to help you make informed choices on your writer journey.
Hello, Reflectives, and welcome to episode 285 of the Stark Reflections podcast. This is your host, Mark Leslie Lefebvre. In today's episode, I'm going to be reading an article from Written Word Media blog, an article that I have been quoted in called The Top 10 Publishing Trends. It's going to be a solo episode, a really quick one, and I'll explain that in my very brief personal update. But first, let's hear a word about this episode's sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Findaway Voices. Findaway Voices is an audiobook platform. It's a distribution platform and also a platform where you can work with professional narrators from around the world. Now, with Findaway Voices, you have the option to find a narrator to work with. If you found your own narrator on your own, you can use Findaway Voices to upload your own professionally produced audiobooks, and you can choose distribution for more than 43 retail and library platforms where you are in control of the price. You have opportunities for price promotions with several of the retailers, including Chirp, which is owned by BookBub. And the great thing about Findaway Voices is the choice, the options. You're in control. There's no one way to do an audiobook. And one of the things I want to remind you about audiobooks is that there can be numerous types of audiobooks. Just like we have hardcover and trade paperback and mass market, there's different sort of sizes and formats for print books. Audiobooks have more than one format. There's not just an audiobook. There's a straight narration. There's duet narrations. There are multicast performances. There are performances that are more like radio plays with sound effects and all of the bells and whistles. So you can have a book that has multiple types of audiobook formats. Audio expands your books into a whole new realm, whole new ways for people to enjoy your creative work. If you want to see how you can leverage Findaway Voices in one or more of these many ways you can produce audiobooks, you can check them out over at starkreflections.ca/Findaway. In terms of a brief personal update, let me explain one of the reasons why I'm not doing one of the many awesome interviews I have. I probably have about 5 already recorded for you, but editing those takes a lot of time, and I'm currently on the road. I'm actually not in my home studio. I'm at my one of my best friends' houses in Levack, Ontario, back up north, connecting with 2 of my closest, dearest friends that I've been friends with for my entire life. And we're just a chance for the 3 of us to connect together. So I'm on the road a lot, and I this week and a half, and when I leave here at the end of this week, I'm going to be heading to a different city with one of these buddies to help him do a move, physically moving some furniture from one location to another. So wonderful chance to connect with people who are really have always been important to me in my life, and that's an important thing at this time of year. If you're listening to this when it first comes out, this is the episode for January 6th, 2023, and often it's a time of reflection, and it's really good to be with these 2 dear friends that have been dear friends for my entire life as we're reflecting on all the things that have changed since we were young, but also reflecting on the new year, the changes in the world, the changes in our lives, and all of those things. So I'm really appreciating this time. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing there. I'm still working remotely, of course, but it does take several hours of editing the interview and then doing my reflection, etc. In this particular case, an article was recently posted on the Written Word Media blog, and Clayton from Written Word Media had requested prior to Christmas, myself and a whole bunch of other people from the industry, our thoughts on publishing trends. And so I wrote a 1,000-word article, and the other folks wrote their things. And then what Written Word Media does, and they do a really good job of this, is they collect the thoughts of a bunch of different people from the industry, and they put together a cohesive look at what people are saying, trends, what people are thinking about, who agrees with whom, even though we didn't talk together. But, so-and-so had this perspective and so did this other person sees it this way. So I wanted to share that with you because I thought it would be valuable. And it's so much easier for me to just read the article to you, because then that way I can get this produced and out the door, so I can return to that very important relationship with two of my dearest, best friends. And so that's it for a personal update. I did want to reflect on one brief thing in terms of personal things going on, and that is my book, The Canadian Mounted, which I've been talking a lot about in my personal updates, and just how well it was selling, particularly around Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, and because it was launched for Canadian Thanksgiving, and it started to the sales trickled in, but it really blew up during American Thanksgiving and continued to sell really well throughout the Christmas season. Now we're, just a little over 4 days into the new year as I'm recording this, and I'm selling an average of about 10 copies a day so far. So not a significant number of copies, but 10 print copies a day at a time when you don't expect to be selling a lot. But ironically, interestingly enough, the book's overall status on the Amazon store is like 24,000 or something like that. In its heyday, when it was selling 3 to 5 times as many copies a day, and again, this is moderate sales for most really, really well selling books. So it's great for me. It's really good for me. And because usually books only sell in larger quantities like that when I'm running a promotion, when you're getting the hundreds and hundreds of sales in a day usually for those. But in this particular case, I think it reached as low as within 1,000. I think I got into the top 1,000 books on the Amazon store, physical print books, which was cool. And it was, it hit number 1 in one of the 3 categories. And it was often between number 1 and number 5 with one category. And it was in the top 10 for another category. Usually it would go up to 12 or whatever. And then the third category was anywhere between, sometimes very rarely within the top 10, but it would go up within the top 50. So that's just the subcategories of, movie reference and stuff like that. But interestingly, this morning when I was looking at it, all 3 of those categories were like number 2 or number 4, number 5, and number 9 in the top 10. And yet the overall status is way, way farther away, 24,000. And that's because, there's a lot of books selling in the store, way better than mine. But within the category, and the category I'm in, is probably really expensive coffee table style gift books about movies. And so they're not selling 10 copies a day on average. They're probably selling less. They're still selling, but interesting to see that within the ranking of the category, it looks like I'm killing it. But in the overall store, I'm not. And again, the sales are far less than they used to be, and yet my ranking in the categories are higher. So that's something to reflect on is, the things we focus on. Of course, I'm going to focus on those because I'm excited to be in the top 10 of those categories. But we also focus on the wrong things. Sometimes it's reviews. You can have dozens of 5-star reviews of people who loved it, and there's that one person who called out one thing in the book that they didn't like, and we spend all our time focusing on that. So as I'm reflecting at the beginning of the year, well, hey, this is the Stark Reflections podcast. I reflect all the time. But as I'm reflecting at the beginning of the year, I'm paying attention to the things that we attend to and what we can use with that. I am feeling pretty pumped that this book that I love and put so much love and care into is still doing relatively well. Not a bestseller by any standards, but doing really, really well, which just makes me pleased. So every single unit that moves is continued gravy for me, because this is something I wouldn't really expect to start selling again, in that annual season for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I know there were millions and millions more people who love the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles who don't even know the book exists. So this is the other reality, is that, when you sometimes think you've tapped into every possible reader who could possibly like your book, you are most likely at the very, very beginning. Think about this. You have probably millions of more readers who have no idea your awesome book or books or series exist. Therein lies the challenge, of course, is how to get in front of those readers. And that's what we're constantly thinking about. We're constantly worrying about. That's why we do promotions with places like Written Word Media and BookBub, and we do Facebook ads and Amazon ads and BookBub ads and all kinds of different things that we do to try to get our books in front of the right readers. So again, it's where we choose to focus. What we choose to think about is, do we focus on the fact that it's like, okay, I can't get in front of the right people, or do we focus on, okay, they're out there, let's keep trying. So anyways, I'm, as you probably know, if you're a longtime listener, I'm ever the optimist. I like to take a realistic look at the industry, but I'm ever the optimist about keeping at it and doing what we can to just plug away and hope that the lightning, planting those lightning rods, and hope that one of them strikes one of those times. So that's it for a personal update. So I am, as I said, going to read this article from Written Word Media, and it quotes lots of really wonderful, great people from the industry, including me, and I'm going to say and me as well. But I'm honored that they asked for my thoughts and my opinions, and this has been several years in a row where they've reached out again to say, hey, what are you thinking about? What are the things that you think are going? And I thought you, dear listener, would benefit from the ability to listen to this article, as I often do in my posts for patrons. I'll find an article that I find interesting, and I'll just share the audio. Wow, I can't speak. I think I need more coffee. I share the audio version of it so that you can enjoy what people are talking about potentially. So anyways, I hope you enjoy this episode, and I will be getting back to regular episode with interviews next week. And I want to also say thank you to so many people who've reached out. Newer readers have already done one or two interviews with newer writers, actually, which is really exciting to share their perspectives. So there'll be more of those coming up, and of course, more interviews with writers I haven't had on the show before. And again, I will be returning back other people I've spoken to. I just want to provide a variety of voices and thoughts and perspectives, so you and I can have our stark reflections together. So that's it for my really long, extended, brief personal update. Let's get into the main content for this episode. The Top 10 Publishing Trends for 2023 by Clayton Noblet on writtenwordmedia.com, January 3rd, 2023. Publishing trends appear and take hold fast, often before you even notice. Every year, we survey publishing industry experts and analyze our own data to make predictions on what the new year has in store for authors and the wide world of publishing. Here are our top 10 publishing trends to watch in 2023. If you're new to Written Word Media, welcome. We provide easy-to-use and effective book marketing tools for authors. We're known for our large reader audience, over 1 million and counting, and our friendly customer service. And there is a way you can join our free community of over 20,000 authors by clicking here. And of course, this is Mark inserting that there is a link in the show notes to that link, as well as to this article. You can also, there will be clicks to see the products and services that they offer and how they can help you sell more books. Publishing trend number 1. Artificial intelligence gains a foothold in writing. The artificial intelligence, AI buzz, has been around for a while, but the end of 2020 brought a sharp uptick in noise. OpenAI's release of ChatGPT in late November is perhaps the single largest contributor to the excitement, and a number of industry professionals see changes on the horizon for the publishing industry. I'm not the quickest adopter when it comes to AI, But I'm seeing things now in both design and writing that are starting to show real promise, wrote Mark Dawson of the Self-Publishing Formula. 2023 will be the year of AI writing, wrote Brian Cohen of Best Page Forward. But it won't mean that the robots will take over the bestseller list. Authors will use AI tools like pseudo-write as part of their regular process to blow past writer's block and create more books in less time. Joanna Penn agrees that AI will be used to assist writing of all kinds of writing in 2023. We will also see more adoption of generative AI tools as part of the creative and marketing process, wrote Penn. The opportunities for creators just keep expanding. Generating marketing copy, participating in a brainstorm session with an AI tool, rephrasing existing copy, all of these use cases are viable now, but what's the long game? Whether you like it or not, AI-written books are coming, wrote Craig Martell, author and 20 books organizer. Not one-button simple books, but from paragraphs to pages to chapters written with refined prompts and detailed outlines. If I were to train an AI, I could use some 8 million words from just my books, wrote Martell. I wouldn't need anyone else's voice to fill in gaps. With the possibility of indistinguishable prose on well-thought-out storylines, this is a logical step for many. What this means for authors? Bottom line, in 2023, more authors will use AI tools to assist their creative process. Not everyone will, and this publishing trend will not be controversy-free. Keep reading, we'll get to it. But for some, these tools will lead to a real boost in productivity. Publishing Trend 2. AI art gains steam. AI writing will gain a foothold in the publishing industry in 2023, and we see the same coming with AI visual art. Most publishing professionals' expertise is in the written word, and while many are talented visual artists as well, more design tools will be a welcome addition for many others. Authors can take advantage of AI art by using it to produce concept art of their work, create advertising images, generate logo ideas, and even produce art for use in book covers, comic books, and children's books, wrote Dave Chesson, Kindlepreneur. While I don't believe AI art is quite at the level where it can produce book cover level artwork, I have no doubt that the level of quality will get there eventually, given the rate of advancement we've seen in 2022 alone. Jane Friedman of The Hot Sheet agrees that AI art is in a position to expand within the publishing industry in 2023. For years now, there's been talk of how AI will upend all kinds of professions, yet the technology has never really progressed to the point where I felt it merited much attention in the writing and publishing community, wrote Friedman. That's changing fast, and I expect that 2023 will be the year that a lot of dominoes start falling. AI-generated art is coming for book covers and custom illustrations, wrote Friedman. The demand for affordable visual art in the publishing industry makes the rise of AI art tools a compelling publishing trend for authors and publishers alike. To learn more about AI art tools, read Kindlepreneur's post on AI art and how authors can use it. And again, there'll be a link to that in the show notes at starkreflections.ca, as well as in the article I'm linking to here. What this means for authors? The available AI art tools are very fun, so they're worth playing with for that reason alone. But don't expect the AI to instantly create the book cover of your dreams. Human designers are highly knowledgeable in what sells, and they are much easier to convey your vision to. AI art may be better suited to assisting your creative process or book marketing than gracing the cover of your books right now. Publishing Trend 3. Audiobook creation becomes easy. AI is going to play a big role in audiobook narration in 2023. Google already has an AI narration tool for authors, and we think AI narrated titles could soon fill the gap between authors who can afford human narration and those who can't. Apple is also now offering AI narration, and as Penn mentioned on her Twitter feed, how far behind do we think Audible and ACX will be? No, AI narration is still not close to the quality and emotion of a human narrator, but for some genres it works quite well. And as long as the AI narration is made clear up front, some readers will prefer AI audio to no audio at all. What this means for authors? AI narration will not replace human narrators anytime soon. However, AI narration is a cost-effective way to add another format that readers may enjoy. Consider creating an AI-narrated audiobook in 2023 and see how it does. If you already have plans to work with a human narrator, don't cancel. AI isn't going to get you close to that quality. Publishing Trend 4. AI drives debate in the publishing industry. Enough beating around the bush. We see big things coming for the publishing industry and AI in 2023, but this technology does not come without a hefty ethical debate. AI systems are trained by reading the web and other published works. They consume incredible amounts of information and use these inputs to generate their outputs. So in a way, many AI tools are a product of collective humanity. So who owns the outputs from AI tools? Who should own the outputs of AI tools? These legal and ethical questions will test publishing and many other industries in 2023, and almost all our industry professionals agree. I predict that the hostility, infighting, and divisiveness we've seen regarding the use of AI tools in general has the potential to become more divisive than the long-standing wide versus exclusive to Kindle debate, wrote Mark Leslie Lefebvre of Draft to Digital. There are those who fear what AI will do to the creative community, displace artists, narrators, writers, wrote Lefebvre. And there will be those who acknowledge that AI is another tool in the arsenal that writers will be able to employ as part of their author business. Beyond the ethical debate, which by its very nature is unlikely to ever be settled, expect to see the courts getting involved in 2023. Bookbrush CEO Josh Wiley believes the legal debate will provide some clarity with time. With an exploding market of available AI art, I foresee more regulation and court-decided copyright decisions to provide better direction for anyone on the fence, wrote Wiley. Jane Friedman agrees. I expect legal challenges to start appearing with some very tough questions to be answered about ownership of IP. Both the IP used to train these models and the IP produced by them, wrote Friedman. So, the debate will heat up in 2023, but almost everyone we asked also preached calm when thinking about the rise of AI. As with any emerging disruptive technology, there's always a rough adjustment period, writes Chesson. And as with any technology, there will be people who take advantage of them in nefarious ways. But overall, I think authors and artists will be helped rather than hindered by those advancements. Lefebvre counsels authors to avoid falling into the mindset of traditional publishers who have not evolved with the industry. I caution writers from spending more time worrying about this technology's effect on the creative world than figuring out ways to adapt it into their process. I ask them to remember something critically important. The reason indie authors have dominated so effectively in the indie author space is they saw something with the advent of ebooks that the larger, more established traditional publishers couldn't see. They saw possibility. They saw new ways of getting their work into the market. They saw open doors, infinite reach, and the ability to bypass the gatekeepers of traditional publishing, wrote Lefebvre. Cohen agrees that fighting against the inevitable may not be the best choice for all authors. There will be plenty of critics who question whether or not a book partially generated by artificial intelligence should be allowed on Amazon, said Cohen. But those who ignore the debate and consider the potential benefits may see a massive boost in productivity from using the software. What this means for authors? Focus on enjoying the debate. People will have different but still valid opinions on the use of AI. We all stand to learn a lot from productive discussion. Publishing Trend 5. Authors expand into new channels. In 2023, authors will continue to find new ways to grow and diversify their revenue. From serial fiction to NFTs and Substack, there are more ways than ever for authors to get creative about increasing their earnings. Orna Ross, founder of the Alliance of Independent Authors, believes conditions are right for authors to find new income streams. The creator economy, in which fans directly fund creators, including authors, is already booming and is set to grow in 2023, with more creator economy platforms like Patreon, Podia, and Substack emerging, wrote Ross. Serial fiction has been around for a while now, but with the entry of Yonder into the marketplace in late 2022, signs are that 2023 could be a big year for indie authors. Written Word Media announced a partnership with Yonder in October of 2022. In the past 3 months, we've paid out thousands of dollars in advances to Written Word authors as part of this partnership, Farrell Vernon, COO of Written Word Media, reports. This is exciting because this revenue is additive for authors. It's money in the bank that they would not have otherwise received. Serial fiction and other formats stand to gain ground as authors look for more ways to generate revenue from their intellectual property. Serial fiction is a great way to repurpose backlist content that is tropey and fast-paced and find an entirely new audience for it, said Emma Boyer, VP of Operations at Written Word Media. Authors interested in working with Written Word Media and Yonder Media can learn more and apply by clicking the link that you'll find in the show notes at starkreflections.ca. We also see the popularity of serial fiction increasing with readers in 2023. Younger readers are more likely to read on their phones, and we expect serialized formats like Kindle Vella and Yonder to take advantage of this device preference. The buzzy new startup, Books.io, is looking to help authors monetize NFT collector issues of their work. If successful, this is another example of how authors will be able to supplement their income from new sources. The demise of Twitter and Facebook may accelerate the trend towards direct reach. Authors tend to win when middlemen lose power, and the decline of platforms like Twitter and Facebook could translate into direct gains for authors. What this means for authors? New channels mean more opportunity, but also more distraction. Instead of letting FOMO dictate your choices, evaluate each opportunity with regard to your capacity. Will this channel generate sales for you? Will you enjoy doing it? Do you have the time to do it? These are all great questions to ask. Publishing Trend 6. Advertising automation is embraced. Facebook and Amazon advertising are integral parts of many authors' marketing strategy, and this will no doubt continue in 2023. However, authors looking to get the most of their advertising will need to adapt changes from the platforms and be open to trying new tactics. In 2022, Facebook ads saw a host of changes, one of them being the removal of a large portion of interest targeting options. Dramatic changes like this are something many Facebook advertisers have come to expect, and it's safe to say that similar changes could occur in 2023. Authors can embrace automated solutions to stay ahead of this publishing trend. Facebook is becoming much more efficient at finding and then serving the perfect audience for each advertiser, wrote Mark Dawson. Interest targeting is still powerful and certainly the easiest way to get your ad out there, but for the last 18 months or so, some of the best options have been removed, and I've pivoted to trusting the algorithm with things like lookalike audiences. It's not perfect, and a good amount of manual handholding is still required, but I'm seeing steady progress and better rates of conversion, wrote Dawson. Dawson is seeing a similar trend on Amazon and is getting good results by putting more trust in its suggested campaign setting. This is also the case with Amazon and using automated campaigns to find readers who are interested in your books at the precise time that they might be tempted to try them, wrote Dawson. What this means for authors? Installing the metapixel on your website and building your email list to start building lookalike audiences is more important than ever. Test those audiences in combination with interest targeting on Facebook, and don't be afraid to test more heavily automated campaign options across platforms. Publishing trend number 7. More indies embrace direct sales. Last year, Cohen and Lefebvre predicted that direct sales would continue to grow as a significant channel for indies, and they were spot on. Cohen sees this publishing trend expanding even more in 2023. With more education and lower barriers to entry, even more authors will take the leap into direct selling in 2023, wrote Cohen. But I expect Amazon exclusive KDP Select users will dip their toes into the waters by selling their paperbacks and their audiobooks on their websites. This tactic will allow them to get pages read while they start collecting more email addresses through platforms like Shopify and WooCommerce. Direct sales make sense for indies on a monetary and philosophical level. Nothing is more indie than writing, publishing, and selling your books all on your own. Kinga Genetics, CEO of Publish Drive, believes selling direct offers both freedom and security for indies. Selling direct is going to continue to be a hot place for growth in a savvy author's business plan, wrote Genetics. These direct connections will allow authors to build and emerge their reader base without relying on outside companies or tools. One benefit of direct sales is the amount of data they give to authors. When a reader buys a book from Amazon, the author won't know who they are. But when they buy a book from a Shopify store, the author receives all the purchase data. This data allows authors to effectively target their readers and send them the right message at the right time. Direct sales will mean more data and revenue for indies. Yes, the setup can be onerous, and those with smaller readerships may not see the benefit yet, but we see this channel continuing to grow as more authors recognize its benefits. The publishing industry will also move to support direct sales in 2023. Written Word launched Limelight in 2022, a dedicated email promotion that allows premium members to link directly to their website, Shopify store, or social media account. The promotion has been popular with authors who are actively looking to move more of their revenue mix toward direct sales. We anticipate more products like this proliferating in 2023. What this means for authors? More direct sales marketing products means authors with smaller audiences could benefit from selling direct in 2023. If you already have a store, consider how you can maximize royalty-free revenue. Can you release titles on your Shopify store before they are available elsewhere? Would this lead to more revenue, or would it hinder your rankings on the big retailers when you publish there? Publishing trend number 8. Indies make the most of economic changes. There is widespread anticipation of an economic recession in 2023, and indie authors are poised to make the most of it. The fear is that readers will spend less money on books, wrote Ricardo Fayette of Readsy. While this may sound like dire news, it also means that readers will look at prices more than ever to inform their book buying decision, and price has long been one of the effective marketing tools for indie authors. Readers cutting back means more consideration for lesser-known authors with cheaper titles, and more readers looking for a bargain instead of snagging the new bestseller. I expect price promotion strategies as well as book promotion services like Bargain Booksy or Free Booksy to become even more effective in 2023, wrote Fayette. Discount books aren't the only way for authors to win in the face of economic headwinds. While we can expect readers to think twice about buying a $9.99 ebook from a traditional publisher, it's unlikely that readers will cancel their Kindle Unlimited or Scribe subscriptions, which allows them to read unlimited books every month with that same amount, wrote Fayette. If you are wide and distribute to libraries, a further strategy could be to remind your readers that they can access your ebooks for free via their library apps, thus supporting a retail channel that is both budget-friendly for readers while still paying you full-price royalties upon checkout. What this means for authors. A recession could lead to an increase in demand for low-cost entertainment, and you can't get a better bang for your buck than an indie ebook. Consider the pressures your readers are feeling when you advertise, price, or distribute your books in 2023. What options do you have to reach readers? What message will be the most effective? Publishing trend 9. Indies focus on global audiences. Expanding to new markets is a great strategy for indies to grow efficiently, and genetics sees a big year ahead for indies and new markets. Publishers and authors will be looking more thoroughly at where they spend their money, as well as how they can grow their audience across a global market more quickly and effectively, wrote Genetics. Part of why 2023 is shaping up for a big year in international sales is the growth in markets across the world. Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America are all showing global growth according to the data we see on the Publish Drive platform, wrote Genetics. Many authors don't know that Asia is the biggest market for books behind the US, and for the last several years, annual growth rates are the highest in this region. Publishing in new markets presents a big opportunity, and we see indies embracing international distribution at higher rates than ever in 2023. What this means for authors? Distributing your work to international markets could be a big opportunity. The number of English-language readers across the globe is higher than you might think, and getting exposure in those developing markets could set you up for success later on. Publishing trend number 10. Book talk matures. Book talk is massive. As of late December 2022, the hashtag has close to 97 billion views on the platform, and is not showing any signs of slowing down. 2022 also saw large publishers get in on the game as Barnes & Noble and others partnered with TikTok to generate buzz about their titles. TikTok also has plans to begin selling books on the platform. Could TikTok itself become a competitor to Amazon in 2023? In 2023, we see even more indies investing in Book Talk and spending more marketing time and budget on the platform. We also expect larger publishers to refine their approach on the platform and develop even deeper partnerships. Oh, also, you can follow Written Word Media on TikTok, and there will be a link in the show notes and the article for that. What this means for authors? Even if TikTok isn't for you, authors should still investigate it as a marketing channel. Posting isn't the only way to use the platform. Can you work with an influencer to promote your books on TikTok? Are your readers on TikTok, and can they review your books for you? Book Talk is too big to be ignored completely in 2023. Conclusion. There you have it, our top 10 publishing trends for 2023. From AI's big year and the controversy that'll follow it, to new formats and international markets, there's a lot on the table for authors and publishers alike. What do you see coming in 2023? Which trends most excite you or worry you? Let us know in the comments below. So I'm not going to reflect all that much on the article, other than I think it's really great to look at all the different perspectives and to consider things. So one of the things I've been focusing on when I was reading that is the things I didn't think about when I wrote the original article. And I'll probably, the actual article I wrote to send to Clayton, I will probably share with my patrons in the next week or so, once I get a chance to do the reading of that over at patreon.com/starkreflections, just so you can kind of see my entire thoughts on that. But there were realms I didn't really talk about much, and so I've been focusing on the things that I didn't think of, so I can learn from others, as we're always trying to do. But I also think that there's some really great insights and things to think about and reflect on, but I bet you there's going to be something that comes along in 2023 that none of us even had on our radar. And that is both exciting and a little bit nerve-wracking too. But it's what we do, is we continue to absorb, we continue to learn, we continue to embrace, and we continue to adapt as the industry evolves, as technology evolves, as the business of writing, publishing, creativity, as all of that continues to evolve. So the question I ask you, dear listener, and you can leave the comments for this over at starkreflections.ca, is what are the things that you've been thinking about, either based on this article or just the things you've been thinking that you may want to explore or learn a little bit more about in 2023. And I will also add this additional element is, what are the things that you would like me to explore, to learn about, and to share with you, either by interviewing different people about it or just some sort of investigation that I can return to you? What are those things that would be valuable and useful in your own learnings for this year ahead of us? So that's it for this episode. That's it for the reflections, etc., etc. I will be back next week, as I am every single Friday, into your mind, maybe your heart, maybe part of your soul. Who knows? We are connected that way, aren't we? What's a lovely, lovely thing. I will be back. If you like the podcast, one of the things you can do is you can leave a review for it on whatever platform that you listen to your podcasts on. You can also become a patron if you like, over at patreon.com/starkreflections. I did gain a couple more patrons, and my apologies, I didn't have the people handy. I will get to thanking my new patrons, as well as all the people who support this podcast, in next week's episode when I'm back in my office. And you can also, just to help out the podcast, you can share this episode. You can share any episode. You can share the podcast itself with people that you think would find value in it. Again, thank you so much for listening. 2023 is young. I'm wishing you all of the best. And as always, as ever, I'm wishing you great writing and good Stark Reflections.
Thank you for listening to the Stark Reflections podcast. You can find show notes for each episode at starkreflections.ca.
The music for this podcast, Laser Groove, was composed and produced by Kevin MacLeod. Check out more of Kevin's great music at incomptech.com.